Greetings from Australia. I'm Cynthia. Before I tell you what it's like to lead a double life, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. You heard that right. I led a double life. At home and at my private school, I was shy and unremarkable. My father proudly held the title of one of the most renowned conductors in the country and tried to turn me into his little copy. For that, I needed to get accepted into a conservatory, so I played the piano for hours daily like an obedient daughter. However, the life of rich people only seems great when you aren't living it. Dad's endless strict rules made me feel like nothing but a caged bird. He chose my clothes for me, forbade me from going to parties, and didn't let me be an ordinary teenager. It might be hard to believe, but he even had a rule against laughing. Real ladies should be serious and think about their future. Right. It made me feel old and tired. I was a teenager, raring to go. That's why I had a secret identity. Check this out. When I was dressed like that, I was Linda. She was quite the daredevil. I would wear daring clothes and bright makeup and hang out with a group of troublemakers. My friends all came from rich families like me, but our lives couldn't be more different. They were so carefree. We took part in street racing, threw wild parties, and filmed it all on camera. Of course, my friends didn't know I was actually a wallflower from a conservative family. I'd be a laughingstock. Leading a double life was hard, but pretty damn interesting. At one party, my friend Alicia showed me a new video of our favorite blogger, Icebrain. Check this out, Linda. He threw a foam party on the roof of a skyscraper. Icebrain was our idol. He traveled all over the world, pulling off crazy pranks and throwing awesome parties. I dreamed of growing up and living life to the fullest. Dad couldn't make me stay boring forever. One day, I was texting my secret friends at breakfast. Alicia sent me a meme, and I couldn't help but laugh. Of course, that infuriated my father. Cynthia, have you no manners? Sorry, Dad. I looked down guiltily. However, as soon as Dad turned away, I picked up the phone again. My friends were planning something huge and asked if I was in. Or, well, they asked Linda. I was supposed to perform at the music school that day, though. Dad was gonna come to the concert. I had no choice but to tell my friends to have fun without me. That evening, Dad gave me a stern warning before the concert. Cynthia, you're the daughter of a famous conductor. Don't embarrass me. What was that, Dad? You proud of me? Wow, thanks! Dad went to the auditorium and I wandered through the school hallways, waiting for my turn. Then, I heard familiar laughter and I saw my friends drawing mustaches on the portraits of composers on the walls and filming it all. This must have been the prank they'd wanted me to take part in. Icebrain would love this. I wanted to leave before they saw me, but then I met Alicia's eyes. She squinted at me suspiciously. You look familiar. Have we met before? Nope. Luckily, they didn't recognize me. Soon, I went out on stage and I sat down at the piano. My friends also sat in the auditorium. They were laughing loudly and disturbing everyone. I was on edge, worried they might recognize me, and I couldn't focus on my performance. Dad glared at me and gritted his teeth. It seemed I had disappointed him. My wacko friends must have gotten bored, because they pulled the fire alarm. The water sprinklers activated and everyone ran outside in a panic. The concert, obviously, couldn't go on, and the security guards chased after my laughing friends. Stop, you brats! I didn't want my friends to get into trouble, so I found them backstage and I showed them the emergency exit. Hey, over here! You can sneak outside through this door. They quickly left, but Alicia stayed behind for a second and looked at me again. Thank you for the help, stranger. You look a lot like a friend of mine, but Linda's too cool to play the piano, especially in a place like this. With those words, she ran after our friends. That's when my pissed off dad found me. Cynthia, were you just talking to those vandals? No, Dad. Get in the car, right now. Dad scolded me for my poor performance the entire way home. I'm ashamed to call you my daughter. A 5-year-old would have done better than you. His words gutted me. Still, I was more worried my friends would realize it had been me they'd run into at the music school. As soon as I got home, I changed into my cool clothes and went to the cafe where we usually hung out. My friends were happy to see me and proudly told me about their prank. That concert was so boring until we got there. We were just like Icebrain. By the way, Linda, there was a girl who looked a lot like you. What? No way. Sean reminded us his birthday was coming up and invited us all to his parents' villa in Singapore. This is gonna be the party of the year. Everyone's eyes lit up. My heart sank though. Dad was supposed to be getting yet another award that weekend. Of course, he expected me to be there. Oh, I wished I could figure out a way to be in two places at the same time. I promised Sean I would think about it, and I wandered home. Leading a double life was getting harder by the day. As I walked, I heard footsteps behind me and quickly turned around. Someone immediately hid behind a tree. I only saw their shadow. Was someone following me, or was I being paranoid? I must be seeing things. I came home and I tiptoed to my room. I couldn't let my dad see me like that. Everything went smoothly. At least I thought so. I turned on the light in my room and my blood ran cold. Dad was waiting for me there. Judging by the look on his face, he was furious. "You've disappointed me, Cynthia. My assistant followed you and saw you talking to those insufferable teenagers." I hadn't lost it. Someone really had been following me. I'd been caught red-handed, so there was no point in coming up with excuses. That's why I asked Dad for more freedom. I wouldn't lie to you if you just let me hang out with my friends sometimes. Those delinquents are not your friends. They're putting your future and my reputation at risk. I'm taking away your phone. From now on, you can't leave the house without my permission. But Dad, not another word if you don't want your punishment to be worse. I can't have a moment of peace because of you. He swallowed some pills and left. I buried my face in the pillow and groaned in despair. Ugh! Dad wanted me to live like I was a prisoner. It made me want to rip my hair out. I dreamily thought about Ice Spice and his carefree life. That's when I decided to go to Singapore just to spite my father. Over the weekend, I took my credit card, transformed into Linda, and met my friends by the airport instead of going to the award ceremony with Dad. Let's throw a party that would impress Ice Brain himself. It's gonna be legendary. Sean's parents' villa was right by the beach. It was gorgeous. I felt like I was dreaming. Sean immediately turned on the music and everyone started dancing like there was no tomorrow. I wanted to join them too, but deep down, I knew that I had let my father down. I couldn't muster up the energy to go on the dance floor, and Alicia noticed it. Linda, I don't know what's bothering you, but you should forget about your problems for tonight and have fun with everyone. She was right. Coming to Singapore only to brood would be a real crime. I got on the dance floor and I let loose. It was all a blur after that. I don't remember how the party ended, but for some reason I woke up on the beach next to the villa the next morning. Alicia suddenly sat down next to me. Wow, you were a riot yesterday. What are you talking about? I don't remember anything. Oh, don't be embarrassed. She held out her phone and showed me a video. The neighbors had apparently complained about the noise. The video showed cops arriving when the party was in full swing. I don't know what possessed me, but I cursed them out and I threw a cake at their car. What? I couldn't have done something so idiotic. Well, the video proves you did. The rest of the guys have already gone back, but I didn't want to leave you here alone. That was the most embarrassing thing I'd ever done. I promised myself I would never lose control like that again, and I headed towards the villa. Wait, where are you going? We need to pack up and go home. Don't you understand what you've gotten yourself into? Alicia said that the cops I'd escaped from were still waiting for me at the villa to arrest me. I'd broken the local law and I couldn't just leave. Alicia even showed me my wanted poster. They're hanging these all over the city as we speak. You need to lie low. Jeez, what should I do now? Alicia thought for a while and then she said she had an idea. Give me some money and I'll buy you new clothes. If you wear this, they'll recognize you at once. Well, that was something. I gave my friend all the cash I had on me and I waited for Alicia by the beach. Soon, she came back and handed me a beautiful traditional dress. No one will recognize you in this. After I changed, I looked like an exotic princess. I wanted to head to the airport and head home. Are you kidding me? There's a ton of security guards and cops there. You'll be arrested. What do you suggest we do instead? She said she knew someone with a badge who could help us get back home. However, it would cost a fortune. My dad was loaded, but if I tried to withdraw so much money, Dad would ground me until I was 80. So I said we had to find another way. Let's try to go back by plane. I don't think they'll recognize me if I wear this dress. I still think it's too risky, but it's your funeral. We headed to the airport and I realized with horror that my wanted posters really were hanging all over the city. I got nervous and I tried to hide my face, but the employee at the airport demanded to see my face when he was checking my documents. I can't can't let you through until I see your face. There were a lot of guards and surveillance cameras around. I started shaking like jelly from fear. In the end, I couldn't handle the pressure, so I grabbed Alicia and ran. After that, I withdrew a ton of money from Dad's account, and I gave it to my friend. I don't care if it's too expensive anymore. Just get me out of this mess. Don't worry, we'll get through this. Wait here, and I'll take care of everything. She left, and I decided to go for a walk. It was a beautiful city, after all. Imagine my shock when I saw a familiar face in a cafe. It was Ice Brain himself. However, he didn't look like the famous party animal. The blogger was sitting quietly at a table and reading a book. I walked up to him and I told him he was my idol. Why aren't you partying though? I only act as a party animal for the channel. The rest of the time, I'm just an ordinary student. What kind of moron would want to party every day? So you lie for likes? Thousands of teenagers are following your example. My friends and I dreamed of living like you, without a worry in the world. I was seriously mad at him, but Icebrain just laughed good-naturedly. Listen, everyone has their own head on their shoulders. I shouldn't be held responsible for someone taking the content made for a laugh seriously. He winked at me and left. Brain was right. Life isn't supposed to be an endless party. Business before pleasure, you know? Dad and I were both wrong. I decided to call him and apologize for missing the award ceremony that was so important to him, even though he had crossed a line too. However, for some reason, Dad didn't answer the phone. Then I noticed another wanted poster of myself. What I'd done had been wrong, and I was finally ready to accept my punishment. I tore the poster down and I came to a police station with it. I'm guilty. Arrest me. For some reason, my statement made the cops laugh. They said the poster was a fake. They weren't looking for me because I hadn't done anything wrong. Was he kidding me? I went outside, more confused than ever, called Alicia and asked her what was going on. Well, I knew you'd figure it out sooner or later, Linda. Or should I say Cynthia? How do you know my real name? Alicia said she'd recognized me at the music school and followed me home after the party to find out who I really was. Dad's assistant hadn't been the one following me that day. I found out all about your double life. The thing is, I know what it's like to lie to everyone. I was only pretending to be rich to hang out with you spoiled party animals. I even got into debt to save my cover, while you all were basking in luxury. You can't imagine how much I hated you. Well, now I got back at you, huh? Your money's mine. Alicia made sure I'd had a great time at Sean's party. Then, she downloaded a movie clip and used a deepfake to replicate the actress's face with mine. She hung those wanted posters around the city and convinced me the police were looking for me. All that was left to do was convince me to withdraw the money. Oh yeah, before I forget, I sent that video to your father. He must be really proud of his daughter. Well, we're boarding. I gotta go. Ciao. I was shaking with anger. How could someone I trusted do that to me for money? Since the police weren't actually looking for me, I bought a ticket and went back to my hometown. I rushed home to explain to my dad that the video was fake and I hadn't actually done anything wrong. But my father was nowhere to be found. His assistant told me terrible news. It turned out, as soon as Dad watched that video from Alicia, he had a stroke. He was taken to a hospital and fell into a coma. I ran there and I threw my arms around my dad, sobbing. I'm sorry. This all happened because of me. His doctor walked into the ward and said it wasn't my fault. Your father has had heart problems for a long time. He worked tirelessly and didn't take any breaks. This was only a matter of time. That's the bitter lesson life taught me. All I wanted to do was have fun, and all my dad wanted to do was work. Everything's good in moderation, though. The next day, I ran into my friends and Alicia. She started laughing as soon as she saw me. Well, would you look at that? The good girl is here. See? I told you Linda was leading a double life. I wanted to tell my friends that witch would stab them in the back first chance she got, but they realized it all without my help. Alicia, what's wrong with you? She's still our friend. I'm sorry to hear about your father. This is a wake-up call for all of us. We should clean up our acts. Alicia snorted angrily and left, and my friends hugged me. Unfortunately, Dad soon passed away. He never got his last award. I came to the ceremony and I made a speech about him. Sean and the others were there to cheer me on. We stopped blindly imitating our idols and started to think for ourselves. I got accepted into the conservatory. I study hard, but I don't forget about resting either. Sometimes I look at Dad's picture and I tell him all about my successes. I want to believe he'd be proud of me. Life is an unpredictable thing, and not all stories have happy endings. You should appreciate every minute and learn to enjoy the little things. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to press like and subscribe to the channel.